Justin, do you know what I struggled with the most when I got into Magic?
Deck building.
100%.
Playing the game, winning. Oh, sorry. Just deck building.
It was just deck building. But I wanted to talk about our templates now that we're seasoned players on how to build or how to start the build of a proper Magic the Gathering deck.
A proper Commander deck.
Commander, standards out there.
Yeah, I love building decks. It's my favorite part of Magic the Gathering.
Where do you start? Like when you're picking a Commander to build, what's your first thing to do? Do you look at like power level? Do you find a cool Commander from a set?
Here's how I start my deck building, usually. A new set will come out, and obviously, especially nowadays with new sets, right, there's like 50 legendary creatures to choose from.
Insane amount.
So I will look at the legendary creatures. I'll see if one piques my interest, and then I'll go from there. I have ways I like to play, and I think that's critical when you start like playing the game and playing Commander specifically. Find out how you like to play the game of Magic. Like what I like to do in Magic, I love life gain, I love mill, I love casting giant spells, and even casting giant spells for free. That's all fun to me. So when I choose a Commander, I'm choosing a card that does like a mixture of those or something similar.
So you start with choosing your command, like something piques your interest, and that's I'm not there.
Yeah, how do you do it?
I look at what power level I want to play.
Okay, so you look at your brackets first.
I look at my brackets first, especially with our pod. Like we have a high-powered pod most of the time, and then we have some members of our pod like playing lower. And so what I do is I start there, and I'm saying, okay, if I want to build a bracket 4, I'm going to be looking for future commanders that are coming out, like in the next set, or I'm going to be looking at past legendary creatures that fit the bill for a bracket 4 deck. Or even bracket, because like you get in the bracket 5 and you actually need like meta commanders. Like you can't just go off and be like, I'm gonna build, name it, and then say
for sure
it's a bracket 5 deck.
I will say when you get to higher power levels, I do think that actually does become more common. Yeah. Like if you're trying to play bracket 5 or CEDH, you probably are picking meta commanders because that's how those games are played. Yeah. It's like a few commanders that do the thing.
If we were talking about how to build a CDH deck, we'd just say, go look one up, and that's your CDH deck. Like, you can't, like, it's a meta. You just go do it.
Right, it's a meta. You can change, like, 5 or 6 cards maybe.
Max.
But as the bracket level gets lower, the level of variety. Yeah, the level of personalization, choice becomes far greater. But, like, I think this is a good example. There's no, like, one exact perfect way to build your Commander deck. Like from the very beginning, I started a certain way, you start a different way, but we both have awesome decks that we love to play that win a lot of games.
Next step.
Yes. You chose your Commander.
You chose your Commander. What are you adding first? Are you adding your denial? Are you adding your creatures?
Okay, this is interesting.
Or are you starting with your land base?
This is so, because I just don't think about it that way.
Really?
So yeah, when I choose my Commander, the next thing I'll do is if it's an older Commander, I do these steps pretty much in order. So I like to use my resources. I think there's nothing wrong with using like EDHREC, and like that site exists for a reason. It's because people have built decks that they find these cards work really well in. So EDHREC shares that with you. So I'll go to EDHREC. What I'll do, if I have a budget in mind, I will only add cards to my clipboard on EDHREC that fall within the budget that I have in mind.
So is that average, or is that like, so you take your average card spend?
Roughly, yeah. Like oftentimes I don't love, right, in casual formats, I don't feel like I need to spend a lot of money on lands. So I pretty much never add a land that's more than $5.
And lands are the most expensive. Like they're going to be...
Right. Like my green decks would be better with Boseiju, but I'm not going to put a $60 land in my deck. Yeah, or Gaia's.
Just throw Gaia's in there.
So what I'll do is I go to EDHREC, I pick every card that looks like it'll do what I want my deck to do. So I pick my Commander. I have an idea of what I want the deck to do because I have my playstyles I like. I'll add every card I think I would like, put it in the clipboard, export it. We have Phased Out has a page on Moxfield. So I'll export it to Moxfield, and then I will go to YouTube after I do EDHREC, and I'll look for gameplay and like deck techs, such as Show Me Your Deck. If you guys want to watch our Show Me Your Deck playlist on Phased Out, please do.
It's very private.
And I'll hear what people like unique card synergies, like what have people already tried that's awesome with the deck. And then I'll go to Scryfall and I'll look at, like, example would be when I was building my Pantlaza deck, I went to Scryfall and I just looked up dinosaurs in the Naya color. So
and then you just started
Naya color,
adding?
dinosaur, looked at them all, and if there was one that wasn't already in my list, but on Scryfall that I liked, I'd throw it in the list. So usually by this point, I will have anywhere from 110 to like 150, 140 cards, including some lands. I do like to add the land count immediately, personally, just so it's not like crazy. And then I'll start cutting from there.
Now,
but that's the next step. That's the next step. Okay, now so that's what I do. I have like a multi-step process of gathering the 99 for my list.
Interesting.
Once you choose your bracket level, then you choose your commander. How do you then fill out the 99?
It depends on the commander. So if it's like bracket level and I'm going like a combo spell slinger type.
Yeah, what's the difference between how you do it for casual decks and your high powered decks?
High powered, it's more like you're going to EDHREC, you're going to like the meta, and then you're kind of building off that, and it's whatever. Casual, like bracket 3 down to 1. I don't have any bracket 1 decks because I don't want to play for 8 hours straight.
My dream.
I don't want to play one game for 8 hours straight. I will say I've had some long nights of Commander.
Yeah, we're different that way.
But depending on what my commander does, so I pick, let's say, bracket 3. It's a spell slinger. I'm starting with my instants and sorcery. So whatever my commander's built around, I'm starting there.
Okay.
If it's combat heavy, I'm starting with my creatures. If it's landfall, I'm starting with my lands.
I like that a lot. So you're like, my commander has a focus, and I'm going to start by looking at the card type that's going to be critical to my...
Yeah. So if it's like Toph is landfall, like it's a landfall built deck. It's
Artifacts.
Utility lands. So I'm like, okay, I need to go research a ton of utility lands because I can sack those and do different things to get a huge amount of benefit that should only be one time, but now I can get them every turn. So that's where I started for that. For, well, like my only other bracket 3 deck is probably going to be, my Marlin deck. That's a bracket 3, kind of teetering into bracket. It's a solid bracket 3 right now. With Marlin, she's a fairy, and she has that elf and fairy trigger. So it's obviously going to be tribal on fairies and elves. So I'm starting with my creatures to be built around synergies with fairies and elves.
Okay. So you've chosen your commander, you've identified how you want it to play, and then you are selecting cards for your 99 based on that.
Yep.
Do you put a bunch of cards in before you start cutting, or do you put your important cards in, cut, and then add the rest?
See, I put my important cards in, cut it down, add, cut it down.
Okay.
Like I'm like constantly like in the end of my deck building process, like when I have the cards like that I'm really thinking about, I'm only at like 105.
Oh wow.
So like when I'm done with my first draft of the deck, it's at 105 cards. And then I'm at like, okay, I have to make 5 choices.
That's great. I would say that's more unique, but I like that method of building. Like add what you think is going to be great, cut from there, and then just slowly add more.
Yeah, like
it's
do
less
some play
overwhelming
test hands,
for sure.
Like how does this really interact? Like for Marlin, like Displacer Kitten isn't a fairy or an elf, but it bounces the effect, so that's obviously going to be an ad.
Well, yeah, Displacer Kitten is like one of the best cards.
Or like Sky Coach Conductor in Secrets of
Strixhaven.
Strixhaven. It's the same. Like you can pair that with Displacer Kitten and get multiple bounce effects all at the same time, and that's going to be insane in Marlin. So. Like those 2 cards pair well together, I need to add those.
So I said I add all those cards. I like go through my 3 resources, add all the cards. Then I do my first cuts, and I'll do pretty heavy cutting. I'll cut to like 105 to 115, and then I'll do my first play test. You do your first play testing in the middle of adding.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll just throw some lands. Like it'll be like I basically treat it like if I'm getting my creatures in, I'll treat it like a 40 card deck where I'm like I put my lands in and I'm seeing okay how fast can I like combo this off depending on what I'm building, or how fast I can accomplish my goal with just my creatures. And I adjust the land count based on the amount of creatures I have, and then I'm good to go.
This is so interesting.
Yeah.
I love the way you build. It's unique. I've never heard somebody build that way, and you have some pretty good decks. So it just goes to show you,
They're
like,
okay.
Yeah, you can build any way. Okay, so you get to your 105. I get down to my like 105, 110. What is your process for your final cuts? Like at this point, it seems like we've both play tested quite a bit.
Yeah.
But you've just got, those last 2 or 3 that you're choosing. How do you kill those last few cards that you love, but they just can't be in the deck?
I say how I usually do it is I like do playtests with each one, and like what I'll do is I'll do playtests, but then I purposely, like, if I have 5 considering, and I know that I'm like, these are because usually like what card you would swap them out for. It's just like, which one do I want to do?
Right.
What I do is I do playtest hands, and in Moxfield, I put one card in I shuffle. I put one card back in and shuffle, and I search for the card that I'm considering, and I put it in my opening hand.
Okay. Yep.
And then I do play tests based on that.
Based on it, and
it's like, okay, like, if I can play this on curve, how much of an impact is this going to make? And that goes for instants, sorceries, you name it. But in general, like, you have your parameters that you want to land. Like, I usually want to fall. I mean, it changes based on, like, if it's a super combat heavy creature deck versus a landfall deck, that changes things. But, like, in general, I would say 20, 25 creatures, 6 board wipes, X amount of removal, and then 36 lands, and then 10 to 12 pieces of ramp.
Ooh, okay. So you even have like a template.
I have like a template that I'm like, that is what my goal is. Now, based on the deck that I finish and the goal I'm trying to accomplish, it might change slightly. Like, I might end up with 35 creatures. If it's a super heavy combat tribal deck, you don't need as many like mass board wipes, because it's just like, well, I don't really want to be board wiping because I'm building the fastest.
Yep.
I don't really want to be doing that. Or if it's like a landfall deck, I might want to be at 40 to 44 lands.
You for sure want to have higher land count.
So that's kind of where I go. Like, I kind of start with my template, and then I tweak it based on what my commander actually does.
Okay, so like, could you give me like a somewhat concrete, like, general template that you try to follow? You said like 6. Did you say 6 board wipes?
Yeah.
Okay, take me through like land, spells, board wipes, ramp, creatures.
I go to 36 lands.
Okay.
And that could be 10 to 12 pieces of ramp. So that could be creatures and or artifacts. Removal, I try to go like 8 pieces of targeted removal.
Okay.
That could be counter spells. That could be just destroy, path to exile, you name it. And then I try to go for 6 pieces of like mass interaction, where it's, either we're doing this, and then 4 to 6 pieces of protection.
Okay.
You need to protect. Like, if I'm building my deck around my commander, I gotta protect my commander. So as many pieces of protection I can chump in, and I don't include creatures in protection.
Okay.
So like Selfless Safe Right, I don't include that into my protection spells, even though it offers protection for all my creatures.
Do you only do that with protection, or if you have a card that fills multiple needs?
I only do that with protection.
Okay.
Because I feel like that's like my most important thing right
now.
And that's trial and error learning on, I hate getting my stuff removed, so I'm going to hold up more protection, especially since I build so heavily around my commander,
right,
that it's like I need to put in more protection. And then I choose around, if I'm going for 25 creatures, that brings me to 5479. And the rest, like...
Did you say 25 creatures?
25 creatures.
That's your floor?
Yeah, that's my floor. I mean, that's like just general template. Like, it's just a general deck. I mean, it's a huge spell slinger deck, then I'll fill. And then I'll fill with usually like sorceries and instants that are going to help me accomplish my original game plan. So if it's like... and enchantments too. Like, if it's a token deck, I want a ton of enchantments, instants, or sorceries that are going to create tokens or ping people on entry of tokens. And that's where I kind of...
That's very interesting. I'm a little less structured personally. What I like to do is I don't have a general template per se. Well, actually, I'll go back to talking about the cuts. Like my final cuts, what I'll do is I'll goldfish a bunch, and then if ever a card is a dead card in my hand,
Like you're like, I can't play this right now.
yeah, or like, dang, I drew this and that sucks. That was a horrible draw. I'll cut it, and then that's how I get down to my final 100. So it's would I like it in my opening hand? Yes or no? Will it be a dead draw late in the game? Yes or no? And then what's the cost like monetarily of the card? Those are my 3 big factors for my final cuts. But like when it comes to templating, I am much more general about it. I don't have personally like I want this many board wipes, this many creatures, this much interaction. I am fairly structured in my lands. I try not to go below 35 lands ever. So between 35 and 38. I do count MDFCs in that. So like Fell the Profane is one of my favorite MDFCs. It's a removal spell on one side, land on the other. So I'll count that as a land.
But you don't count as removal?
I will also count that as removal.
Okay.
Yeah, so I count both. So we talked about Nature's Claim on like a commons episode we had, like good commons for under $1. A card like that can do multiple things, I count as both. So I try generally to run at least 3 board wipes. Usually I try to make them one-sided or exile. I feel like in the current age of Commander and Magic,
Destroy just doesn't do much.
Destroy is too easily blown out by really cheap cards, like cheap like mana cost wise.
Ton of indestructible giving cards for instance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I try to have 3 pieces of either one-sided board wipes for like my tribal decks or exile. Like I love Farewell. Don't think it should be a game changer.
I don't think it should be either.
But I love Farewell. I almost always run it in my white decks. And then if it's like a tribal deck, usually I'll have a like 30 creature floor. But that's like kind of it for my templating. Otherwise from there, when I'm building the deck, my main focus is how do I generate the most value and how do I win? And I'm choosing my cards based on that. Like, how do I win is such an important question. When I first started playing the game, it was so easy to get carried away with, this card's awesome, this card's awesome. And then
let me just throw them all in. Yeah.
I have a pile of good stuff, but I don't necessarily have very clear
It's multi-directional,
lines.
and you're like, oh, I don't know which win path I want to take.
Right.
And you just get confused.
And now I'm much more focused. Like the most recent deck I built and like built to completion was Felithar, the Precon commander from Tarkir Dragonstorm.
Very good.
Yes, I have awesome sleeves for that deck.
Big booties.
Big booties. That deck I feel like has shown how far I've come in deck building because you could go a lot of different ways with Abzan. Toughness matters, but it was pretty structured. It was like, I want this to be resilient, mid-rangey, kind of like Alpha Strike win cons. And I don't want it to be more than a bracket 3. And
it's a great bracket 3 because it's built-in card draw. It's hard to remove because it's a big body.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That actually brings up another very important question. Card draw is critical to me when building decks. Like things that are super vital to me. Just to have fun playing. I want to draw cards. I want to be able to interact, even if it's not my turn. And I want my stuff to work together. Like, I want my stuff to trigger my other stuff. Yeah. What are important things, like, to you during your gameplay experience that impacts the way that you build your decks?
So, when I was, like, you know how I had that fill-in space of different things?
Yep.
That's usually where I add my card draw. Now, normally, depending on the colors I build in, creatures have card draw.
For sure.
What I try to do is I play test, and if I don't have 4 cards in hand at least, like I play test like long games. So it's like, hey, I'm play testing.
Turn 9, 10, whatever.
Yeah, turn 9. If I don't have at least 4 cards, then I need to add more card draw.
I like that. Yeah.
It just adds like a good buffer. Like even if I normally think the game's going to end here, if you're sitting at turn 4 consistently and you're like, I got 1 card in hand, then you don't have enough. Like you need to make some.
100%. Yes. I mean, This has been really fun. I've loved this. I love hearing more about how you build decks. There are so many unique ways to build decks, and some people I know some people don't love to build decks. I love to build decks.
Precons are a good place to start. Like even if you are a starter, how I learned to build decks was just getting a precon and then just some slight upgrades to make it better.
Yeah.
And sometimes you swap some cards out and you're like, that made my deck worse. Mm-hmm. And then you play it and you get buy a precon, play it 10 times so you know exactly what it does and what route you want to win, and make upgrades to it and see if that increases that likelihood of that path, or if it flops and you didn't make a good swap. But it's a great start to your deck building experience.
Great start monetarily too, and it can really help get that itch going of what would it look like if you built a deck from scratch. Yeah. So let us know in the comments, how do you guys build decks? Is there anything we talked about you want to try or that we should try based on what we talked about?
Or if we just stink at building decks.
Yeah, or if we're actually not even good deck builders, which is highly probable.
Yeah. I haven't won a CDH tournament, so I can't say anything.
That's all right. I won a pre-release once, so come at me. I think I'm pretty decent. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe.
See you next time.